Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Check it out. In tonight's show, I have Coach Smith. He's on. He's waiting in the green room. And then we're going to talk about the Fairfax game. Hopefully you were there to see, just the boys do what they do. They won. And then we're also going to preview the Westchester game, a.k.a. the Fog Bowl. And you have to stay tuned to really know what I'm talking about. So after the intro, we'll come back. We'll chop it up with Coach and just talk about the previous game, and we'll just get into everything Pali football. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you after the intro. Here we go.
Hey, win on me, win on three, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Oh, yeah! Stop playing with a P! 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 Stop playing with a P!
Some call it the gridiron.
Nice route, way to skim it.
Others, 100 yards of pain.
Too much.
We just like to call it football.
Football.
With Facebook James.
Football, baby.
Hey, what's going on, Pali Football Dolphin Nation? This is Mr. Riley. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. The week is almost over, and we're getting closer and closer to Pali Football Day. This coming Thursday, actually, we got 2 days of Pali football, Thursday and Friday night. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but thank you for tuning in. If you're watching us live right now, go ahead and drop a comment in. And I was playing with the comments earlier, and let me just go ahead. See, that's too large. I can't even read that. I don't know what I was doing, man. Let me see if I can reformulate this thing. And this thing is huge. I don't even know who left this big of a comment. What's going on over here? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out when I'm talking to Coach behind the scenes a little bit. So. Yeah, but welcome to the show. Well, sometimes our comments that pop up just appear very, very big. But yeah, we have 2 days of Pali football, tomorrow, Thursday, and also Friday at 4 o'clock at Westchester. So, before we get into the Westchester game, we want to really go ahead and recap and talk about what happened this past Friday at our homecoming game against Fairfax. And so, just all the particulars, parents, if you're watching, please, our next home game, which I believe is senior night, it's a night dedicated to our senior football players, and so it's a very special night here at Pali Football. And so if you're definitely, if you're a parent, and you want to be involved, you want to make sure that you get there on time, get there in between the JV and the varsity game. That's when we're going to celebrate our seniors. And so, hats off to you. If you're a senior parent, just come on out and have some fun. And most likely you're going to receive a ton of emails and information as it relates to, the timeline for senior night. So please just put that on your calendar. I believe it's October 27th if my math is doing me, if it's working in my mind correctly, the 27th, Friday the 27th. And, we just look forward to seeing all of the families out there. And it's going to be a nice event as we finish up. I believe that is our last home game of the season. And then, hopefully that'll be the game that, we can clinch our league championship. But, we don't want to talk about that to you. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We still have a couple of games to go, but we would love to see you at our senior night. Other than that, I know there's going to be a ton of opportunities for parents to volunteer. So I know there's probably the sign up genius is going to be emailed to you. And so if you're a senior parent, we don't want you to volunteer on that particular night. We want you to come and enjoy the football game. And so, those of you who are JV parents or family members, guardians, we would love for you to support Pally football either at our concessions, at our merch table, and things like that. So just consider, giving our senior parents a break and just let them enjoy the evening and not have to worry about, being a volunteer. Just allow them time to bask in the glory of their senior, participating in Pally football and with senior night. So that's all we have to say about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the show now. We were a little bit late, just trying to make sure that all of our technology was working. So we really apologize, but we know that you're going to be educated and be blessed by some of the information that we're going to share as it relates to the recap and the preview for the respective games that we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend. That is Coach Dylan Smith. So let's bring him in, and hopefully this is going to work correctly without any big comments. There we go. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for hopping on, man. This is we just finished week 7, and this is week 8, right?
Yes.
Man.
So this is our 7th game, week 8 or week 9. So week 0. That's always confusing.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing, but we know that we have 3 more games, including this week, to go before the end of the regular season. So
Correct.
Thank you for joining us again, man.
Of course, no problem. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. So you guys managed to win. You know what? Before we even start talking about varsity, let's just go ahead and I believe our JV, because I hardly ever throw any accolades to our JV team, but our JV team, they must have had a couple of extra burritos or something, some meals or something on Friday, because that final score was it 81-7?
81-7. I believe they broke a score record. I don't know if it was JV record or a score record, but yeah, I think 81 points was the most we've ever put on that scoreboard. So kudos to them.
Kudos to the JV team. If I knew that my applause sound effect was going to work, I would have played it. But I do have my air horn, so let me go ahead and smash that air horn. Shout out, 81 points, man. When I went down to the field, I got there, I think at the beginning of the second half. They were already winning 66-7. I'm like, okay, we got this, right?
We got it, right.
And then
it was 55. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you good. And I'm just like, okay, at the end of the JV game, I go down the field. I'm like, okay, knowing that we already won, but I didn't expect it to be 81.
I didn't either. Well, there was a little incentive for the kids because other team was dancing on our logo and being a little disrespectful. So they took it personal. So we weren't trying to run up the score. We were just we were going to score at every opportunity. They did.
Absolutely. So they took a page from Coach Prime. It's like, hey, it's personal. It's Coach. Folks dancing on the dolphin. That's something you can't do. You can't dance on a dolphin.
No, not at all. We were gracious to them. And they come in being disrespectful. So JV took it personal, and that's what happens when you dance on the dolphin.
Man, listen, see, that's probably why the tone was set the way it was set way early at the JV game, because the Lions came and they came out the lion den and wanted to dance on a pod of dolphins, and we just turned angry, and I think we showed them.
Absolutely, and like I said, we weren't trying to run up the score. It just so happens we did, and if you can't stop us, then, unless we take a knee every play, we're going to score. So,
absolutely. So, hats off coaching staff and to the players. I know some of the players, every time I hit the field, hey, what's up? They still call me Facebook James. I'm like, okay, can you just call me Mr. Riley? But it's all good. 81 points, that's phenomenal. And I'm sure that's going to do wonders for them. It's going to boost their morale. And we got 3 more games. So guys, keep it going, and we really appreciate your effort. And don't ever let anyone come into our house and disrespect and dance on the Dolphin. That's a no. So I'm
Absolutely.
glad that
Yeah.
you all took it personal.
Yeah. As long as they do it within the game, I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. So, Coach, let's go ahead and kind of get into the preparation of it all for this past week, man. The boys. We actually won the game. I believe it was 30. Let me see. Let me go over here. And I'm sure you could
36-13.
36-13. I got it right here on Max Preps. 36-13. Good game. We came out hot, smoking hot, scoring 22 points in the first quarter. Right.
Yep.
And first quarter, they allowed only 7. Nobody scored in the second quarter. Third quarter, we had a score, and then we allowed another score at near the end of the game. And then we also scored a touchdown at the end as well, Roman, with that run. So 36-13. And it seems like the running game was on point, was on fire, Coach. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think I talked about it last week. We just want to keep running the ball, and talk about the 3-headed monster. We always talk about Terrell and Harrison, but Shiloh, he does a great job blocking for those two, and he's been very unselfish. He doesn't get a lot of the carries. We try to feed him when we can, but anytime I call 2 back, he's ready to go out there and block for those guys. So, not only the line, Shiloh really opens those holes up for those two to be able to run the ball. And this is the first time we've had 2 100-yard rushers. So we really did a good job all around with the linemen doing a great job blocking all game. I feel like this is the most complete game we had all season. So from start to finish. So I was really proud of everybody.
Yeah, we were. It was funny because we were joking at the end of the game after all the extracurricular activities, and we'll talk about that just for a hot second. Up there when everyone was leaving, and I think there was a parent up there we were talking about. I think one of the players had dropped the ball, and I think the kid was like, "Hey, man, you better catch those passes because coach ain't passing as much now. He running the ball, right?
Right.
You guys definitely. I think, like you said, if my memory serves correctly, according to Max Preps, Harrison had 103 yards. Terrell had 120 something yards. Terrell had 2 touchdowns. And it was a well balanced attack for the running game this past Friday.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to spread it out as much as we can. We're moving Harrison from slot to backfield. Trying to give him different looks and get him in space. So we've reworked the offense just a little bit. Trying to get more lanes for those guys to run. And like I said, the linemen, just watching that film, there was a couple mistakes. Obviously, nobody plays a perfect game, but just overall, you could just tell the difference from 2 weeks ago to now. I tell them every time in film, make a new line of scrimmage, and they've been doing that a lot the last 2 weeks. So, I'm really proud of the line, the way they've come along last couple of weeks.
Yeah, actually, and I can think in my mind, I'm thinking, using that same quote 2 different ways for the offense and defense, right? So offense, of course, you want to advance the ball, and that's what the boys were doing. They were on their running game. I think Terrell had 23 carries, right?
Yeah.
He was on his grind. He was on his grind.
Yeah.
He did his thing, and hats off to him. But also defensively as well. They could, and they had a couple of tackles for losses out during the game. And so just thinking about, make a new scrimmage line, that same thing can preach to the defense as well, because you want to definitely back those guys up instead of allowing them to have positive yards and have, their offense create a brand new line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. We like you said, we want the offense to go forward, and we want the defense to go backwards or forward for us. Same distance. Make a new line of scrimmage in the backfield. So, we did a good job attacking and causing havoc for the quarterback and running backs to not get comfortable and get out of their rhythm. So, it was just I told the kids Monday it was a complete game. That's the most complete game besides special teams that we played all season. We just, we started out strong with special teams first couple games, and we've kind of gone backwards with that. So
Yeah.
we really focused on special teams the last couple of days.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to Bill Smith, who's watching. He says, Bill Smith says, Bill and I will be there on Friday. We are in town from Florida cheering for number 2 for the Dolphins. And I don't even have my roster in here to see who number 2 is.
Isaiah. It's Isaiah Sensible.
Yes, yes. I mean, duh. How could I? So of course, my second son, he wore number 2. So I'm like, okay, my number 2. And I remember when, we had some brothers who were twins. One of the, I call them the Babbler boys. So I know one of them wore number 2, and I'm like, duh. I haven't called Sensible's name in it's been a couple of games. So I need Sensible to have a good game so that you guys can go back to Florida happy. And so we appreciate you coming on out. Just know that the game is at 4:00 at Westchester High School. Okay, it's not at Pali, so we don't want you to make the drive to the stadium by the sea, although it's a nice drive. But we want you to come to Westchester, enjoy the game without any problems, and I'm sure Isaiah, he knows that you're going to be there. He's going to show up and show out. But I haven't called his name too much. I think maybe once or twice against Fairfax, but I'm expecting to call his name a lot. He's a defensive stopper, and I know he's still young. He's a sophomore, right? And so he has some growing pains to grow through, and I'm sure by the time he's a senior, he's going to be that dude. He's going to be him, as they say in the athletic world.
Yeah, no, I always get excited to see Isaiah. A lot of times they don't throw the ball to his side because he's just, that type of corner where you just don't want to attack over there. So that's probably why you haven't called his name much, because they just don't go to his side. So
yeah,
he's doing a great job.
Yeah, no, I remember just the game against when he was JV last year against San Fernando. I mean, he had a prolific game. I mean, he was just making stop it. I think he had 2 nice touchdowns. I think he might have even had a pick 6 for one. I mean, he was just going off on JV. And so, again, great things going to happen with him. We just, it's going to be over time. He got, 2.5 more years to develop, and I'm counting this year as a part of that developmental phase. And so good things are going to happen to him. And then Maureen also is here. She says, go Pali. Why, thank you, grandmother. We appreciate you hopping on. And I'm glad that you were able to find us tonight. Looks like you're watching from Facebook. Erwin says, hey, Erwin, what's going on? He says, Westchester has lights. Why a day game? Great question. Now, I know earlier in the season, Erwin, some of our teams, actually some of the refs, there's a referee shortage. And so I'm not too sure why, there's a 4:00 game. Maybe, Coach, can you shed some light into why there's a 4:00 game for this Westchester game?
That I'm not sure of. It could be a referee shortage, so they might have a doubleheader that night. So that could be the reason. But they haven't. I don't know exactly why Westchester was moved. It started out at 7:00, and then I want to say maybe a month and a half ago they moved it to 4:00. So it could very well be the referee shortage.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and hop into I do want to, Erwin, it's funny because Coach and I were talking right before we came on, and I was just telling him, because he wasn't a part of Pali football, I was just saying the last time we were at Westchester, I called it the Fog Bowl. And so let me show you why, and then we'll talk about the stats real quick. Let me see if I can enlarge my screen over here. Okay. Now, I'm not too sure if you can hear, but let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, that's me right there. Let me see if I can bring you in, Coach. Hold on. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, Erwin. This is probably why. Let me turn down the sound over here. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but this is probably why one reason we're not playing at night. The fog is so crazy. This is the last time we played at Westchester, and it just ended up being a whole bunch of fog. And I remember, I can't think of my man's name. I remember he was short in stature. He was one of our running backs. He actually took a return all the way back, and I could not see him score the touchdown because I was on the opposite end of the field. but it was just so dark and so crazy and so foggy that I just kind of call it the fog bowl. So maybe that's one reason why there isn't a day game, because it was just crazy, dude. So when we get down to the bottom of it, Erwin, we'll let you know. We'll definitely let you know. But that's what happened last time. And Coach and I was kind of talking about that, reminiscing, or actually I was reminiscing. I was just telling him my last Westchester experience. And it seems like weird things happen at Westchester for the past several years. So hopefully this year our boys can kind of break that mood and come out and play like they did this past week against Fairfax. So let's go ahead and hop into some of the stats real quick, and then we'll move on and really get into the particulars about Westchester. So let me see if I can bring it up real quick. And I do have the box score. And Coach, it also looks like you guys are beginning to do the players of the game as well.
Yeah, I've been lagging a little bit on the stats. Hamilton's been taking a little long because they don't have lines or numbers. Sure. So that one, it's going to take me a little bit longer. But I believe Brentwood finally just went up and just did Fairfax. So Hamilton will be up shortly, I promise.
Got you. Okay, so let me make sure I bring you in, and where I have a shared screen. I know it's somewhere right here. Hold on. I might have to add you in, Coach.
All right.
Okay, so, and I'm going to do this really quick. So, see, this is the magic of live streaming here. We can do things on the fly. And there we go. This is real time right here. And we're going to edit, and we're going to bring Coach in real quick, okay? So you assign to, okay. Give me a second, you guys. Here we go. Guess what? Okay, so there we are. And let me see what happened to my Max Preps. That's still the fog bowl, as I'll call it. And there we go. Okay, so here we are. Here's some of the stats from our last game against Fairfax. And so again, our just passing. Passing was decent. I think Roman, I talked to him after the game. He was very conservative, and I'm sure that's something that you kind of preached and talked about leading up to the football game. And then again, rushing. Roman is one of the fastest guys on the squad, and so he was able to get his 2 touchdowns. Terrell Watson, I stand corrected, 23 carries for 117 yards. I think I said originally 123. Harrison Carter, 10 carries. 102 yards. That's just only 10 yards a carry. He's simple, right? And then, as you're saying, Shiloh Beavers, 3 carries. He wasn't too successful, but he does a lot of other things really, really well that allows the running game to get open.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to get his chance, but, was trying to, figure out what, how to work him in there. But he's, like I said, he's been very unselfish, making holes for the other guys. And, I'm just really happy that he's found that spot on our team.
Absolutely. And then some of our receiving, again, only throwing a little over 100 yards. You're really not able to spread the ball as much, as he did in the very beginning of the season. But still, Braden Sanford, he had two receptions for 53 yards. Terrell Watson, 1 of 6. LaHenry Solomon, 3 for 20. And then Harrison Carter, 3 for 38. So, that's a total of 117 yards. It is what it is. And I think, like you said, you've kind of turned the tide a little bit in terms of, passing the ball, being a passing team to being a running team. And that's a good thing. And, maybe that's what, some of our fans really need to, keep focusing on, is that, the passing is good when it's good, but, the running is a little bit better. And, that's going to be our bread and butter right now.
Yeah. As a team, we just have to find our rhythm. In the beginning it was passing. Now it's running. Hopefully we can mesh it together and get that balance where we can, pass and run, keep teams off balance. We work more, rolling Roman out of the pocket in practice, see if that helps him with this rhythm. And if nothing's there, he can use his feet since he's, fast. And, I saw him, we did that a couple times in the game, and he's been able to move the chain. So, we work more on him rolling out of the pocket and, finding passes, and hopefully he can run if nothing's there. So hopefully we get that balance this week.
Absolutely. And then still looking at, let's maybe focus in on our defense. Um, but this is kind of interesting right here. Let me see. Let me go back to share real quick. So total yards for Roman 131, Braden Stanford 53, Terrell Watson 123. So that's where I got to 123 yards from because I was including the 6 yards receiving, the Henry's 20 yards, and then Harrison Carter. His reception 140 yards for the game. And then let's also not just focus in on the offense. Let's look at the defense. You got some guys who are really stepping up, and Evan has been that guy on the defense, making sure that, the edges, are contained. Folks are not trying to get, especially, for this game, folks aren't really running outside as they have in the past. And so he was doing his thing. Let's see who else you got. Butin, Lighton, for four tackles, and I thought I saw someone else for 6 tackles. There we go. Cash Allen, Jesse. So you got your boys up front doing what they need to do to stop the run and really put a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, especially this past game against Fairfax.
Yeah, Evan, he causes havoc for those guys, the quarterback of the team, and having a guy that's strong, fast, and big, coming at you, throws your rhythm off. And, it's really helped the linebackers. It's good to see Cash and Jesse, have the game they had. It's been a couple games. So I was really happy to see them get back into it. And Jake had a big game as well. So, not just offense, but defensive side is really starting to come along and play as a whole. It starts with the up front, and then those linebackers being able to move around, and then it helps the DBs as well when you got guys up front where you don't have to guard somebody for 6-7 seconds rolling around. So it's just been collective effort for the whole defense.
Absolutely. And then speaking of defense, again, you talked about Evan Nirenberg. 2 sacks last week, against Fairfax, and then he had 3 tackles for loss. So again, the guys are putting the pressure on the QBs, and by virtue of him, getting the sacks, getting the tackles for loss, that's going to really disrupt our opponent's offense. And it seems like they're unable to get into a particular rhythm because of the pressure that we're applying on their offense.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And coach is putting on some stuff this week again, so hopefully get the same results. He's been working, getting to that quarterback and blitzes and just crashing. Hopefully they can, getting pressure on the running backs and the quarterback. So hopefully if we execute, we've been practicing, we should have the same results as last week.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, it was a good game. I was really kind of I don't want to say afraid, but it kind of started. The game kind of started off, with a long return. I think the kickoff return. They're number 3. Let me see if I can. I don't know if they have any stats for it, but yeah, number 3. He got the ball and he took it almost to the end zone. I think there was a penalty on the play, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, here we go. but our defense hung in there. They they allowed caused a mistake, got a fumble or a recovery, a miscue on behalf of Fairfax, and I think we took it initially that first drive that we got, and we took it all the way down for 6 points, for 7 points, including the PAT. So that was, I was kind of concerned in the beginning, Coach. I was like, okay, here we go. But they kind of redeemed themselves and was able to get a touchdown on their Fairfax miscue.
Yeah, I was worried too. I kind of looked down like, oh, we're gonna have one of these games. I'm like, we can't. And then the next play, they let us off the hook with the bad snap. But what I'm happy about is if the special teams aren't doing good, the defense bails us out. If defense is not doing good, offense bails us out. If offense is not driving, defense bails us out. So we've all kind of bailed each other out on each phase of the game. And one of these games, we're going to have all 3, work clicking at the same time, and we're going to be dangerous when that happens.
Yeah, the guy's name is Evan Tellez. Evan Ivan Telez. That's his name. He's a senior. I can't wait till that happens either, Coach. You know, to tell you the truth, I need for all three of our areas of focus, special teams, offense, defense, to just put together a I don't want to say well coached, but a well executed game. Because I know you guys do what you can to put them in the position to win. But at this point, and especially at this level, it's about execution. And so how well they're able to execute the offense, how well they're able to execute the defense and special teams, that's really is going to be dependent on them. You know, sometimes you go to these high school games and you hear parents and supporters and fans saying, "Oh, coach, do this and X, Y, and Z." And it's like, okay, no, the coaches have put in the game plan. Now it's time for the guys to execute. And, you know, truth be told, we put a lot of pressure on those teenagers to score a touchdown, to get a sack, to get a fumble. You know, there's a lot of pressure, but they're going in doing what they can do because you guys have put them in a position to win.
Right. And I promise everybody that's yelling, y'all should be doing this, we practice it. So I promise we practice running the ball, we practice tackling, we practice kickoff, we practice it all. We just, at some point you just have to give credit to the team for doing what they're supposed to do as well. So
absolutely.
But no, this week we really focused on special teams, getting the kickoff fixed, kickoff return. Whatever we had to do on offense to get fixed, we made sure we fixed it, and defense as well. So I think this is the first time I've said this. I think this week you're going to really see a complete game.
Got you. So before we move away from Fairfax, I did have an opportunity to talk to Roman Lascala, the varsity QB, and again, a lot of pressure is on him because he's the QB. He's the big man on campus. He's the leader of the squad. And, earlier in the season, there were a couple of games when, there were some miscues, some interceptions. Yeah. But like I said, I love the way that he played. He approached this game. He played very conservative. And he was able to score 2 touchdowns himself. I mean, he's a fast dude. And so let's go ahead and run over and see this interview. And then, Coach, I want you to kind of talk about just his value and what he means to the team. But before we do that, let's go ahead and see what Roman has to say about playing against Fairfax.
Hey everyone, what's going on? Mr. Riley coming to you right after the game. I got the QB here, Roman Lascala. He's taking a lot of heat, but my man managed to bounce back, engineer a wonderful game against Fairfax tonight, man. So just kind of tell us how you guys prepare for this game. Fairfax was known to be like the best opponent so far in the Western League. So how did you guys prepare for this game tonight?
Well, we knew what they were running. They were running like a cover 4. They're running a weird defense where their ends would bounce out to the flats. And when we ran the ball down their throat, they just couldn't handle it. So they changed it to cover 0. And that opened the pass game for Braden, Jay Will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone got open. Everyone got their turn.
Yeah, man. And what I liked tonight, you didn't have any turnovers, which was good. And I kind of like the short passes to either the right or left. And that's probably what you're talking about. I mean, just, getting the ball out to those. And they were able to get some yards after your catch.
Yeah. They're great guys. Can't say anything bad about them. I give them the ball. They make plays for me. So that's all I got to do.
Absolutely. Tonight, man, you guys did your thing. And then you actually were able to run, had a rushing touchdown. I mean, you got bumped right at the 3-yard line. But, man, just talk about your perseverance. It looked like you wanted to get into the end zone and score that touchdown.
I mean, I just wanted to get in the end zone, and mass times velocity equals power. He was standing still. I'm going full speed. I'm running through him.
Absolutely. No, and you ran right through him, man. I kind of got disappointed that you guys had 2 first and goals down here and you couldn't score. But the third one was a charm. You guys were able to do that, man. Congratulations, man. Next up, I think you have Westchester. How will you carry this next attitude into the Westchester game next week?
Well, obviously, I feel like Fairfax is a better opponent than Westchester. So we're probably going to have the same game plan. Short, run, and hit a beat when they don't expect it.
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying. That running game is definitely going to open up their passing game, man. So congratulations, go celebrate, and we'll catch you next week on the field.
Thank you.
All right, Facebook James or Mr. Riley signing off from Stadium by the Sea.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what's happening over here. I'm getting two feeds in my ear. All right. I think it's on Facebook. All right. Anyway, man, I love that quote about mass and velocity. That was pretty dope right there, man. Just kind of talk about Roman and just what he's had to endure all those few games and what he's been to the team, especially scoring those two touchdowns during the Fairfax game.
Yeah, as a quarterback, there's always pressure on you, not only to win but to keep everybody happy. And we have a lot of weapons that we can get the ball to, and everybody wants the ball all the time. So as a quarterback, it's hard to spread the ball out when everybody wants the ball. So his demeanor, and he doesn't get rattled very often. So the way he's been able to hold his composure when guys are probably in his face asking for the ball or whatever it is. It's just been amazing. Just how calm he can stay, and he's been working hard. We watch film after practice some days, just to get him mentally ready. And he's always staying after practice to throw with Braden and a couple other receivers just to get that rhythm going. So just the way he's been working hard, it's been really good to see.
Yeah, no, he, like I said, that last drive near the end of the game, he really, and it was close up. I was right there, I was capturing it. I was so ticked off with with Facebook. That's a different story. We'll talk about that at the end. What's going on with that? But I mean, I could just see the determination on his face when he kind of rolled out to the left, and it was almost like the Red Sea just kind of opened up a little bit, and he had his opportunity. He saw it. He ran through, and then, like I said, he was hit right there at the 3-yard line, and he was like, "Nah, bro, let me go ahead and hit you with this mass and velocity real quick. I'm getting in this end zone." And so, it was good for me to see because again, folks criticize the QB, especially during Brentwood, and I was like, nah, he's the real deal, and so he kind of redeemed himself for me in terms of just his attitude and wanting to win. Now he didn't need the score, but he was like, nah, I need this. I'm gonna take it personal, i.e., the JV game, dancing on a dolphin. He took it personal, and I think for me, it was a statement that he was like, look, I'm here. I'm doing what I can do to get the guys in winning position, and I need this touchdown for me and also for the team.
Definitely, we worked on not having to force the ball down the field and just take what the defense gives you. Use your legs more. Everybody's been wanting him to run the ball more as well, and I keep telling him, like, you don't need to force it. It'll come to you when it's there. Just use your legs. Let's move the chains. Throw those short routes and let the receivers get the yards for you. And he's been taking that coaching, and in his defense as well. Me being the head coach, offensive coordinator, and the running backs coach, I haven't really had a lot of time to focus just on the quarterbacks, one-on-one during practice. So he hasn't got a lot of the coaching that most quarterbacks would normally get. And just for that alone, he's been doing a great job, trying to do everything with that limited coaching.
Absolutely. No, just he's intuiting the position, and he's calling his number when it's necessary, and he's not afraid to give it up to and try a long pass or short pass to the guys that he thinks are going to be able to receive it. And he mentioned the Henry, he mentioned Braden, and some of the others. So it's good to have that balance, and so I was just so happy for him, especially for him scoring that touchdown. And I know it meant the world to him, but also it meant a world to his teammates as well. So that was really
Definitely.
very cool, very cool. But
Yeah, and you can see he started to get his confidence back as well each game too. So that's been the biggest thing.
yeah, and then here's the last thing about what kind of got me kind of perturbed a little bit. When we had those first and goals down there, and the first two first and goals, we couldn't get through and get a touchdown. But the third time is the charm. We were we were able to get through, and I was just like, okay, because the first one was like, all right, cool, I can deal with the first one, and the second one, come on now. And then when they got the third, the third one, I was like, okay, all right, you guys are serious. And so,
Right.
I knew there was a
Right.
lot of things going on with the flags, and it was kind of chippy out there. But I was glad to see
Yeah.
that they kind of persevered, they worked hard, and they were able to get that third first and goal. They got a touchdown and kind of put the game away.
Yeah. Our goal line has been probably our best thing all year. I think it's like the 10 we scored time. So it's once we're in there, we're kind of hard to stop. So,
Yeah,
20 sometimes we struggle, but once we get inside that 10, I feel like I don't care if we're scoring first down, third down, as long as we get in, I'm happy with it. So we just keep grinding down there. And like I said, the lineman has been doing a great job, pushing those guys in and running the ball in. So it's been good to see down there.
absolutely. And I was kidding. I was kidding with Dylan. I was like, "Hey man," after the game, I was kidding. I was like, "Hey man, I need some pancakes." He's like, "Man, you know, I'm getting the pancakes, but you just don't see them." I'm just like, I'm scratching my head. I'm like,
we look,
okay,
we're looking at a different game he's looking at.
but what really comes through is the W. That's the most important thing, and so we were able to get a W against Fairfax. Yes, there was some extracurricular activity after the game. Yes, we didn't do the handshake. Now, whose call was that? Was that athletic director decision, or was that something that you would kind of discuss with him in partnership, just because of some of the flags and just some of the chippiness that was going on the football field last week?
Yeah, it was getting kind of ugly with the players. So the athletic director came up to me and said, "Do you want to shake hands?" And I said, "I don't think the players should shake hands, but I would definitely shake hands with the coaches. Just me, I didn't have any beef with them, and hopefully they didn't have any beef with me.
Yeah,
But you just never know. Especially with Granada Hills that one time, it got kind of chippy with them. So I just didn't want another situation like that. I just said, you know what, we'll just keep the kids away from each other. Coaches will shake hands and then move on. So,
yeah.
so that was kind of a decision between their athletic director, ours, and then us coaches.
Absolutely. And then of course, something did happen. So, but I'm glad that I'm glad it was most important. No one was hurt. Um we survived another day, and
Right.
we're on to game number 3 at what game Western League game number 3 at Westchester. So let's go ahead and preview that game real quick, coach. And I think we kind of talked about it a little bit last week. I guess it was kind of I didn't have my ducks lined up in a row. I was kind of focused on the other opponent when we had this opponent, but now we got this opponent. So let's focus on Westchester. Like I said earlier, it's always a crapshoot. We start off kind of not playing well, but eventually, we play, and I think we maybe have at least 5 or 6 consecutive wins against Westchester. So just go ahead and tell us, how did you prepare the folks or the guys this week to get ready for Westchester?
I just told them we need to focus on ourselves. The situation with Fairfax, I said a lot of our mistakes come from focusing on what other people are saying, or us getting chippy with the team, or worrying about what the refs are doing. So it's more of a focus on we need to focus on ourselves and just do what we're supposed to do, and we'll win. I didn't. The game plan didn't change much. Obviously we threw a few things in there, but Fairfax and Westchester kind of run a similar defense. Um, so we didn't have to change much, tweak here and there. But our my goal was just to tell them we need to stay focused and look at the goal ahead of us. We're 2-0 in league. We have a chance to take league, and that's what we need to focus on, and not what other teams are doing or saying to us or saying about us. So as long as we play our game, I don't think we can be beaten in this league.
Okay, so there we go, right there. I have some of the current uh, preview, I guess, game preview. So right now we're rocking with 5-2. The comments are 3-4, and then as you can see, California ranking against the section ranking looks like we're ranked number 9 in the city, and they're ranked number 36 in the city as well. So you see the points for For Palisades, we're averaging 29, about 30 points a game. They're averaging about 16. So again, if I'm just looking at these stats, in education, we always say, look at the data, look at the data. But the data says right here that on paper, here's that phrase: on paper, we should
Right.
win, right? And then you see some of their league history and overall history, for this season, a league they're 1-1. At home, they're 0-3. Again, that's another data point that we can look at. Okay, they haven't won at home. Okay. And then away, it says they're 3-1. So, okay. And then points for and the points against, and you see the points for us and points for and against as well. So, again, you've kind of coached them up. You've put them in a position to win, and you still have another day and a half maybe of preparation. So we'll see. Hopefully the boys can put it all together, because this is the game that Westchester might get up for. They might, okay, these dudes are 5-2. We haven't won at home. This is a good time to win at home, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I tell every kid, I tell every team, every game, every time we win, that bullseye on our back gets bigger and bigger. So, teams are going to roll over for us just because we have Pal in front and we're 5-2 or whatever our record is. That every team's going to be getting and bringing their best game. So we have to always be ready and not take anybody for granted. So that was another focus of ours this week as well.
So here are a few more data points as well. So again, talking about being data driven, here's the team stat comparison. Rushing yards per game. Okay, we're at 125. They're at 156. Okay. Passing yards. Okay, well, we kind of win that battle, 135. They have 77. Total yards per game, it's kind of close. 260 to 230. Tackles per game is kind of close, 53 to 58. Sacks, and then points per game. So, and then pancake blocks. Now, so either they're getting meaning Westchester, they're getting 16 pancakes a game, and we're not getting any, or the stats not being taken. But going back to Dylan's point, about pancakes, I'm getting them pancakes, and you just don't see them. Well, Max Prep don't see them either. So,
two things. One, the Hamilton stats haven't been put in yet, so
okay.
those rushing yards might go up.
Okay.
And two, I have not done any of the pancake blocks, so that could change as well. So stay tuned for those two.
Absolutely. And then I know it's a TD process to kind of go through and get, interceptions are easy, right? But going through pancake blocks, that pretty much means that you guys have to kind of watch all of the defensive possessions for our boys, and you kind of tally marking. So I know it's a tedious thing to to get in all these stats, and so we appreciate everything that you do for the team. Again, this is stuff that folks don't really see. Not only is he a coach, he's a father, but then you coach on the field, but then you got to come home and look at stats and put in pancake blocks and reception yards, and rushing yards. So it's almost like
that's what I signed up for. So
yeah, it's almost like a job that never ends, right?
Right, it is. I signed up for it, but I love it. But I promise they'll be up.
So looks like we have. I'm just looking at. Oh, okay. There's three brothers. Okay, so it looks like the Orr family, for Westchester, because you got. I guess this is. I'm gonna say Juan. I'm gonna say Wuan. I'm gonna say Juan. I'm gonna take a guess and say Juan. Orr, and then you have a brother named Wyatt Orr, and then you have Tyler Orr. So all of those, they have to be related, cousins, brothers, something.
Right.
But Juan is averaging 70, Terrell is averaging 76, Roman is averaging 154, Wyatt is averaging 65. Wyatt also total points per game. So yeah, It's gonna be it's gonna be an awesome game, I think. And so, we got three, we got five, three, 5, and 6. They're all related, and so we're gonna see it. We're gonna be seeing a lot of ors this particular game. But it should be fun. It should be fun.
It's gonna be a good game, and like I said, they're probably gonna bring us their best, and I think this is gonna be our first complete game on all three phases. So it should be exciting.
Absolutely, Coach. As long as we don't have to play in the fog, which I'm glad that the game is at 4. There's still sunlight,
Right,
and we don't have to
right.
worry about the fog. Then we should do what we need to do, which is win the football game. And so, any last
Absolutely.
words before we close out, Coach?
No, I just I'm happy for the team. We just season's coming to an end, so I think this is the time we've really hit our stride, and I think this week is going to be that game, and hopefully we keep that momentum going into the playoffs, and just keep coming down supporting. We had a great turnout last week for homecoming, obviously, but just every game, every home game has been a great turnout. So just continue to keep supporting us, and hopefully the product on the field matches the energy in the stands.
Absolutely. Now, inquiring minds want to know: is there an injury report for this week?
Jackson Burrell will be out, nose guard. He's battling illness. And Braden Connie, linebacker, will be out for personal reasons. So
Okay.
just those two are out. Yeah, just those
Okay.
two.
All right. Man, that's cool. Well, it's not cool. It's not cool that they're out, but
Right.
I'm glad to know that we'll have, all of our starters, according to what you just said, all of our
Mhm.
starters. And I know Jackson. I know he plays. I think he plays a lot as well.
Yeah,
Is
nose
is
guard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's number 90, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, got you. So yeah, no, it's going to be a good game, and we appreciate you hopping on, Coach, and giving us a little bit of time. So just hang out in the green room as we always do, and I'll come
All
back
right.
at the end of the show. Okay.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so there was Coach, and just appreciate him hopping on and being a participant again um, on the show. So check this out. I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when we were talking about Roman, right? And just my YouTube, well, not even YouTube. It was the Facebook feed. I couldn't even clip my favorite part of the game. Showing Roman scoring his touchdown pass, and I believe his dad had hit me up. It's like, hey, I need that clip. And so when I looked at the clip on Facebook, everything was fuzzy. I need to fix this. Well, I don't know if I can fix the problem, but I was really, really disappointed because a lot of the boys kind of depend on some of the extra footage that we provide. And so hopefully on Friday, I'm hoping on Friday that the feed will be much, much better. It will be visible and not choppy. I might even have to use my wife's Wi-Fi and just see if I can get on her Wi-Fi that maybe that can provide me with a better experience, a better viewing experience for those of you who are watching the live stream. So we're still going to stick with Facebook. Um, and so, yeah, I just really apologize. Even my nephew was like, hey, Unc, you got the YouTube video up. And so, I was like, it'll be up in the morning. And when I looked at it Saturday morning, I was really, really disappointed. So we'll try to fix the feed and the clarity situation, but we're going to stick through with Facebook. I don't want to keep going back and forth between Facebook and YouTube. So we'll just stick it out. And I'm just trying to do different tests to see which one is going to give us the better option. So, wifey, if you're watching, can I borrow your hotspot on Friday to ensure that we have a much better viewing quality for the viewers this coming Friday? I don't know. I might have to take out to dinner or something. Just so I can use her Wi-Fi. But other than that, guys, we really appreciate you chiming in. And if you haven't had a chance, I see several of you, about 10 or 15 of you are watching either on Facebook or on YouTube. If you get a chance, just go ahead and drop something in the comments to let us know you're here, especially as we close and wrap up. Go ahead and say, go Pali, give us some Dolphins, do whatever you need to do just to let us know that you're here vibing with us and you're finding some value in what we're bringing each week. And so on behalf of Coach Smith, I am Mr. Riley. And I guess I could be called, go back to being called Facebook James. But either way, Facebook Riley or Facebook James or Mr. Riley, whatever the case might be, we appreciate you watching tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at the JV game. JV game tomorrow is at 4 o'clock at Westchester High School. And then on Friday night at 4 o'clock p.m., let's go over to the Comet Stadium and let's pack the house and support our varsity football team as they seek to go 6-2 on the season against the Westchester Comets. All right. So thanks for watching. God bless. And we will see you in the next video. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you do that, you'll know when we drop a brand new video. All right. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you on Friday. And as always, go Pali. Take care.
Hey, win on me, win on three, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Yeah! Stop playing with a P! 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 Stop playing with a P!